कार्य पहले सही जगह सेट तो करो।
कर लो,
ठीक है,
और ऊपर कर लो
ऐसे।
मुझे नहीं लग रहा
हो इधर से छोड़िए क्या बैठ के आएंगे।
Hello, good evening, and sorry for the delay. I think we are 4 minutes late. Actually, I'm traveling, and my mic, basically my mic and that camera is not working properly. So most probably, you are not going to see my face today. And just do let me know in the chat if it's all right, because that webcam is not working here properly. Actually, that's why. And I don't have a proper background because I don't feel like you want to see a bed in the background, my hotel room bed. So okay, so just do let me know in the chat if my audio is clear to you. Okay, I'm trying to get my camera to work. Okay, hello, hello, hello. Do let me know in the chat. Am I audible? Okay, I think I am, and I think I have set up my camera properly. Okay, that's nice. Okay, let me start my video also. Okay, okay. I think I am visible to you. Yeah. Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay, let's start today's session. And already we are late because traveling is not so fun sometimes. So okay, let's start today's session. And let me just fix everything here. And okay, so most of the time you will actually gonna see my top of my head, and my hairs are not actually looking that good. So my screen is very clear to you because I'm using that Wi-Fi. So just load, and in this job you have to travel a lot. Okay, yeah, that's great. That's great. That's great. So let me also resume my stream. Okay, we are visible and good to go. So today we are going to cover one of the most exciting topics of JavaScript. That is like, let me just minimize this. Okay, hide in the tray. And those topics are actually asynchronous JavaScript, event loop, and the promises. So first of all, let's start with the asynchronous JavaScript. Like, what is this asynchronous JavaScript? Just give me a second. Okay, and I can see that I'm clear and I'm visible. And let me refresh this because as I can see, only 20 people are watching in the stream, and that is not accurate. Yes, 111 people are. Execution context, yep. Call stack and first order function. Those were the topics for the yesterday. Today we are going to cover different topics. So I'm gonna close my video just for a second. Okay, so here we are, and let's go live. Sorry for the delay, guys. Sorry for the delay. Okay. So first of all, what is asynchronous JavaScript is? So yesterday I told you that JavaScript can only work single-threaded and synchronously. Okay, so what actually that means? So that the meaning of single-threaded is like JavaScript can execute one line at a time. Only that's the thing. Single-threaded and synchronous is the order, like in which order each of the code is going to be executed. So if I go over here and as you can see, if I do a console.log of a like one 2 and 3. So here I have three console.logs. So each console.log is going to be executed one by one. Okay, it's not like that this console will be executed first and then this. No, there is an order. So that's why we call it synchronous. Okay, so that first line will be executed first, and only if this line is completed, only in that case second line will be executed. So that is called synchronous. But there is a method by which we can execute our code asynchronously. So what is this asynchronous mean? So obviously it's just reverse of synchronous, that we can change, like if you want to execute this line first, we can do that. Or it's like that we don't have to wait for this first line of code to complete. So the meaning of synchronous is that first line should complete and after that second line will be executed. But in the case of asynchronous, we don't have to wait for the previous line to complete. We can continue with the rest of the code. So that is called asynchronous JavaScript. That's all. So that's whole definition about asynchronous JavaScript is that we have to execute. We don't have to wait for any line to complete first. We can move on to the second line. So that is called asynchronous JavaScript. Yes, I know it sounds so easy, but it is the case. So let me just and again, do let me know in the chat like if you are understanding the things. Okay, so that so that I can continue to the next topic. So we have successfully covered our first topic, and you know what? It was one of the most difficult topic that we have to cover today. So now, how actually we achieve this kind of thing? So till now, we only know that if I create a function, if I try to execute something, if I try to execute something, what actually happens? Our execution context is created, and we know this because we have worked with this. So if I execute this code, so there will be execution context will be created, and this execution context will be put inside our call stack. Okay, so for each function we create a new execution context, and each execution context is put over one another. So this is the case, this was the case yesterday, I just told you that. So in that case, we have to execute this function first, then only we can come back to this function. Obviously we cannot directly jump to the previous stack. First we have to complete this stack, then this and then that. But by using a special concept of event loop, JavaScript is able to achieve the thing called that asynchronous thing. And let me just tell you how, what is this a event loop. So by just name you can understand it's a loop kind of thing, but don't get don't get confused by that event loop. That that's not actually a loop. It's like a person. It's event loop is a person who watches for a thing. So what is the thing that person actually watches for? I'm gonna tell you that. So guys, let me know. Should I start this second topic of event loop? Okay, JavaScript synchronous or asynchronous? Nitin, JavaScript is synchronous and asynchronous both. Previously, it used to be synchronous, but it was a way long back ago. Now, JavaScript is synchronous and asynchronous both. It actually depends what kind of code you are writing. Okay. Okay, let's start. So what actually happens is, so let me just give you an example. So many of you have used the function called set timeout. In this set timeout, we pass a function in the first parameter and a time in the second parameter in the form of milliseconds. So in the like 1000 milliseconds equals to 1 second. So 2000 milliseconds will be equal to 2 seconds. And similarly, 3000 milliseconds will be equal to 3 seconds. And here I am gonna log out console.log. I am a set timeout function. Okay, I am a set timeout callback. So if I go here and if you just visit to that console part, and if I just refresh, just look at the code. Okay, so if I refresh, just look at here, we are not getting any output. 1 2 3, and we got this output at exactly at 3 seconds of time. So this is what is something like that we can say that this code executed asynchronously. Let me show you one thing. So if I do console.log, console.log hello I am JS. Hello, I am JS. So if I go over here and if I refresh, you can see this line, hello, I am JS executed first, and after 3 seconds of time, we are getting this output. So as you can see, this is actually what we can say something called asynchronous. We don't have to wait for that previous line to complete. We are moving to the next line. So this is what we say asynchronous behavior of the JavaScript. So please teach, reduce, or and map. Okay, so Chaitra, basically, this session is not about that reduce and map, but I will give you an example that reduce and map are the array functions. So, guys, I'm answering the question that Chaitra we asked. Reduce and map are, trust me, they are these functions not so difficult. And if you're feeling like that, you can anytime join me on Let's Upgrade. Okay. Okay. What are the benefits when we use asynchronous and synchronous? Look, the benefit of asynchronous code is very easy, very simple. Basically, that the thing is, the synchronous JavaScript code is very easy to execute. That it's very easy to understand. And most of the programming language are synchronous in the nature. That first this line will be executed, then that after that next line, after that next thing. So it's a chain. But in the case sometimes, in specifically for the JavaScript, sometimes we have to. Okay. Okay, King, I'm gonna answer your question. So sometimes, what actually happens is sometimes what actually happen, we have to do some kind of task in the background, like fetching of the data from the internet, or we have to wait for some time, or like it could be the case of we want to execute a heavy process that's gonna take a lot of time. So in all those cases, we are going to use the asynchronous version. Okay, so what is the difference? Okay, okay, sorry. Actually, I have used the arrow function. So actually, I should have used this thing function. Okay, sorry for that. So it was a function. Actually, I have used that arrow function. So it's the same. We have to we can write define a function in the two ways. It's a regular function. It was used previously. And it is also used right now. In the ES6, we was introduced with a new concept of called arrow functions. So previously, I have used that arrow function. So don't worry about that. So here we are, and somebody asked a question like, what is the difference between time interval and timeout? In the case of set timeout, this thing will be executed only once after 3 seconds, and in the case of time interval, set interval actually it is set interval, this will be executing after each 3 seconds. Okay, so this function will be executing after each 3 seconds. So if I go over here and refresh, you will see got this output. After 3 seconds I will get this output, and after 3 seconds this, okay, as you can see, this number is increasing. So actually the same thing is logging out again and again. So that is the use case of set interval, but we are going with set timeout because we are not here to understand about the time intervals thing. We are trying to understand thing called event loop. Set timeout. Okay. So let us understand how JavaScript achieve this functionality. Okay. So let's just try to understand how actually is happening. So the magic is behind, like, so we know that if I try to execute this code, the execution context will be created and it will be stored inside a call stack. So call stack, and here we will have we will be having the memory part and the code part. Okay, that's the thing that we know. But as soon as, okay, so there is no variable to be used. Okay, there are no variables, so the memory part will be empty and the code part will start executing. So as soon as JavaScript encounters this line of code, what is it actually going to do? It's going to register a callback. It's going to register a callback. Okay, it's going to register a callback where it is going to register a callback somewhere around the world. Okay, we don't have to worry about that. And this function will be registered and will be continuing. It's this function going to wait for 3 seconds in the background. Why? Because I have mentioned here that it should wait for 3 seconds. So it will wait for that thing, that it will wait for 3 seconds. Okay, so it will wait for 3 seconds, and our JavaScript will move on to the next line. Okay, so there are some special functions that actually can do this kind of thing. So this is called set timeout. Then we have some more functions, and don't need to memorize all of them. You will be understanding like how actually this thing works, so you don't have to memorize anything. So if I go over here, so now what is actually happening is in the background that this function is registering a callback in the background that is going to wait for 3000 millisecond. Okay, so it's going to be waiting for 3000 millisecond in the background. Okay, as soon as the 3000 millisecond times completed, so it will get execute. Okay, so then it will execute, and then this function that is written inside here, so I'm talking about this function. And then after 3000 millisecond, this function will execute. Okay, so this is the case. But there is a small catch here. So obviously things are not so easy. So there is a small catch and things are easy. Just give me 5 minutes of time. Things are very easy. So what actually happening is, so in this case, just try to answer me one thing. If I just wait for 0 milliseconds, so okay, so what is should be the output? So if I, and it's a very popular interview question. So okay, it's a very popular interview question, that in this case, what is going to be the output? Here we are using a set timeout function, and we are waiting for 0 millisecond. It's like we are not waiting for at all. And then we have a console.log of hello, I am JS. So what is going to be output? Just do let me know in the chat. Mm-mm-mm. So do let me know in the chat, guys, what should be the answer. So in the previous case, we were waiting for 3000 millisecond, and what was happening in the background? That set timeout was waiting in the background for 3000 millisecond. Actually, it's 3 seconds, and we were continuing our code. So it was executing. It was waiting for that 3000 millisecond time to complete in the background, and as soon as that timer completed, this function got executed. But in this particular case, we are not waiting at all. We are just waiting for 0 millisecond. So what should be the output? So just answer me. What should be the output? I am set out. Okay. Okay, I am set out. Hello, I'm just tell me the order, like in which order what we are going to get the order. So let me just go over here, and if I say it A, and here I go and type B. So what is going to be output? A or B, B or A. There are two only possible ways: A, then B, B or then A. So what is going to be output? Mm-mm-mm. Actually, you are saying that hello MJS and second console. Okay. Immediately it will give the result. Neeraj has told that immediately contains. Okay. Yes. Harshan. Yeah, basically, set timeout contains a function. So why it's not stored in the variable environment? Actually, see, it will be stored in the. It will be stored in that variable environment, but actually it is also inside a function. It is also inside a function. So it will be stored in for there is a guy. Let me just Hasham Salim is the guy who asked a very good question, that if this function is this is also function, then it should be stored in a variable environment. Yes, it this function will also get stored in a variable environment, but in the execution context of set timeout function. So as I told you that each and every function have a what we say execution context. So okay, so let me answer a question. I have seen that some of your people have given a correct answer, but most of you have not given the correct answer. So let's just see the what is the output. So let's just see what is the output. So we got B and then A. So as you can see, we were getting this thing B first and then A. So if I type here console, and after that timeout, time out. Okay, time out. So first we are getting console and then the timeout, even though we are waiting for 0 millisecond. So in this case also, this part of the code is executing after this thing is completed. After this thing is completed, like after this, why this is actually happening. So this this is the point where event loops comes into the picture. So no, in the behind the scene, what is actually happening? So as I told you that there is a call stack. Okay, so there is a call stack, and this is a very important part. So there is a call stack, and here we have something called event loop. Okay, so just give me 5 minutes, 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes will be more than enough. And here I have a global execution context. So as soon as this line of the code is encountered, as soon as JavaScript encounter this line of code, a set timeout function actually. So what it's going to do, it's going to register a callback. It's going to register a callback, and this callback going to wait for 3000 milliseconds. Okay, 3000 milliseconds in the background. Okay, obviously. But in this case, it's going to wait for 0 milliseconds. It's going to wait for 0 milliseconds. Okay, 0 seconds, because we have given zero. Okay, and waiting for 0 milliseconds is like waiting for nothing. But there is a catch. There is a catch. The catch is that in the call stack there is an execution context. Okay, in the call stack there is an execution context, and this execution context is executing the code. It's not completed yet. It's going to execute this line of code also. So what actually event loop do. So even though this function got completed in the background, this function, that set timeout function in the background have already waited for that 0 second of time, but event loop will stop it for will going to stop it. It's not going to execute it. Okay, it's going to say, okay, stop. There is something else that is working. So wait in the line. Okay, so event loop is going to stop this thing. It's not going to say that, okay, you have just left the call stack and now you're coming to get executed. It's not like that. If you have left the call stack once, then you have to wait. Where you have to wait? In a callback queue. So there is a thing called callback queue. Yes, I know. I'm throwing a new terminologies in front of you, but it is the last thing that we have to understand. Okay, so we have a callback queue. So event loop will say that now wait in the callback queue. I will let you in. I will let you to execute only if this call stack is completed. Only if every line of code is executed. After that, only I will let you execute. So actually now let me just give you a clear picture that what was happening. So we had a call stack, and only the code that is present inside this call stack will get executed. Okay, nothing around. Nothing other than the code inside the call stack will not ever get executed. So here we have the call stack. Okay, and here we have a global execution context. Okay, so here we have a call stack, and here a event loop is sitting and waiting. Event loop basically keeps on checking. Okay, so what it's actually doing. So now this line of code was encountered, and it left the call stack and waited for 0 seconds in the background. It waited for 0 seconds in the background. Okay, now what is actually happening is now as soon as it's completed its waiting, it tried to get back into the call stack to get complete. Okay, to execute this part of the code, but event loop stopped it. Okay, no, don't go over there, just wait in a callback queue. So actually now this function is waiting in a callback queue. In a callback queue, now event loop will continuously check that if call stack is empty or not. It will continuously check that if call stack is empty or not, and as soon as call stack is empty, it will let this part of the this call set timeout to execute. So now what is happening? So as soon as we encounter this thing, it goes over here, it waits for 0 second. Now it's waiting in the callback queue. Okay, now this line of the code got executed. Okay, and as soon as this line of the code got executed, nothing was left in the code to execute. So this execution context, global execution context, will get deleted. And this event loop was waiting. As soon as the call stack got empty, it will let the waiting function to come here and get execute. So this is the whole picture. So I have told you about the whole picture, that how event loop actually works. Okay, and it's a very difficult concept. If you go to the YouTube, and you can find the documentation and a lot of things. It's so difficult concept to understand, but I have tried to make you understand this thing as easy as possible. So do let me know in the chat if you have understood a little bit of what I have told you. That okay. Okay, Tanu, don't worry, I'm going to recap this. Yes, it's a very difficult concept to understand. Yes. So there is a Saurabh say yes. So basically, yes, I'm going to tell you that also. So set timeout and console log functions are basically these are the web API functions. So that's why they wait in the background. Okay. There are more functions like global storage and all. So just do let me know that you have understood a little bit of what I told you just now. Mm-mm-mm. Actually, my stream is little bit behind, so I have to wait for a while. Mm. Okay, so as you are answering my question, why we use set timeout? Okay, what is Suraj Singh Rajput? Yes, I'm going to explain this event loop again. Yes, Naveen, that's great. You understood. Even if you understand little bit of the things, it's going to be very important. So we use set timeout function for like let's suppose let's suppose there are so many use cases that are not even coming into my mind. So let's suppose whenever user click on a button, okay. So as soon as a user click over a button and we want to start an animation, so but we don't want to start an animation immediately, but we don't want to start the animation immediately. So in that case we actually use the set timeout. I have to stop my video for a while. Okay, so somewhat understood. Yes, that's very good. Little bit, but can't properly. Yes, that's even if you have understood little bit of the code, it's a very big win-win situation for us. Okay, moving on. So I'm gonna tell you the more detail about it. So let's just focus on the screen for now. So here we have a set timeout function, and this set timeout function is a part of web API. So basically, it's a completely different concept. So that's why I try to ignore it. There are so many more kind of like console.log and all kind of things. So if you want to learn about each and every detail, so in our whole complete course, we go so deep in the JavaScript, like you will feel like a JavaScript master, like you are the one who have created the JavaScript. We understood about this and global variables and a lot of things in the complete course. But here, I assure you that, but just by attending this course, you will be already ahead of most of the JavaScript developers. Okay. What if set timer? Okay. So in that case, okay, no only timer function can be set callback queue. Okay. If I go over here and we have some variable called like where sum equals to 10. So let's just do sum. Okay. Now execute this code. Okay. So most of your doubt will be get resolved in this case. So what is actually happening? Let's execute this line of code. So now let's have a call stack, global execution context. Okay. So here we are going to have the global one, global execution context, and we don't have any variables here. So we have this function and we have this function. We have only two functions. Okay. But we don't have any variables or something like that. So as soon as we encountered this line, what actually happened, this function goes in the background to be this set element function goes in the background and wait for 0 second. Okay. And it register a callback function. And what is this callback function? This callback function. Okay. So after 0 second of time, we told that execute this function. Okay. But event loop was here and it stopped from executing. It told us that okay, there is something else that I have to complete first, and that something else is it have to complete this line first. So as soon as it console log this, okay. So till then this whole line of code is completed. Actually, this function, after 0 seconds of the time, this function that we want to execute will wait in this callback queue. It will wait in the callback queue. And as soon as this console.log also got executed, so nothing was left in the code to be executed, so this execution context will be deleted. As soon as everything in the code got completed, everything got deleted, this thing got deleted. And now event loop was waiting here that everything should complete first. Only in that case it will let the function that was waiting here to go back in the call stack. And actually it's a function, so it will create a execution context. So in this execution context it will have a variable called sum, undefined. Okay, so there are no more variable left. So then this line of the code will be executed, some value will be 10, and then this line will be executed, then we'll get timeout. So timeout, and here JavaScript want to use the value of sum, so it will go into the memory part, it will fetch the value of sum, and that is 10. So we are going to get the output 10. So this was the case. So actually this was the case. And don't worry, we are also going to cover this topic tomorrow also. So this is the proper working of a execute a event loop. Okay, so Siddharth is saying that can you explain? So let me start my video once more. Okay. So here Siddharth is saying, let me just go through the chat. Okay. So there is a just command which mandatory get executed only. Yes, Naveen, there are like set timeout. Okay, then we have set interval. Okay, so anything that have something called callback will going to do that. Then we have another queue also that is called micro task queue that will be covering just by now. Okay, okay. What if we have multiple set timeout? Okay, so I'm going to answer that question also. What if there are multiple set timer? Varunda, you can answer this question. That each set timer function is going to wait in this callback queue. Callback queue. So actually, it's a queue. So each, if like you and me are waiting in the callback queue. So if your waiting time got completed first, so you will be getting first chance to execute, and after you, I will come in the call set to get execute. So basically it's a queue. So I will also give you an example like how to actually work. So if I go over here and let's just see in the source part, let's just go in the source part and let me stop the function here. And if I restart here, okay, so just see here, just go over here and see in the here. If I execute the code, okay, and in the 1 2 3, just give me 1 second. We don't have to wait for a while. I'm gonna show you that how actually it happening. Okay, let's just refresh. Let's just wait for. Sorry, it was the case. Let's wait for 1 second. So focus here. Okay, focus here. You will see that. Mm, are we getting the output? Refresh 1 2. Okay, it was so fast that we can't even see. So let's come here. In the call stack, as you can see, it sets the call stack. So in the source part we can see the call stack. No worries if you don't understand, I was just trying to show you that what we have learned is completely correct. So in the call stack we have an anonymous something kind of this anonymous is actually that global execution context. So in the call stack we have only one execution context, and that is global execution context. I can also, if I just click over here and if I just move one line in the call stack, we should have seen it to pop up this function. So I have to, I think, name this thing first, and let's just refresh. Actually I have for, okay, I have to make a breakpoint here. Okay, let's just refresh. So see, as you can see in the call stack, just focus here, focus in the call stack part. Okay, so if I break the code here, so now I'm going to stop the code in line number 6 and at the line number 2. So I'm going to stop the code two places, at the two places. So if I refresh, as you can see in the call stack, we have anonymous. So basically this line is trying to execute. Our code is stopped here. Our code is stopped here. But just see what, wait and watch happens. If I click over here, as you can see that after this in the call stack, this function got popped up here. This function was popped up here. So I'm just showing you that that call stack got changed. So I was trying to show you that. And if you just understood that moving picture that I told you, that's more than enough. So okay, so that's more than enough if you understand that moving picture that I have told you. I think I stopped my video sharing. Mm, okay. Sir, we can use asynchronous function or the fast arrow function in the set time. Yes, we can use both the functions. Okay, you can use Tanu. I think you are asking. You can use fat arrow functions also in the set timeout. Okay. Balu has asked a question that, hello sir, is JavaScript supports for multiprocessing or multi-threading or not? Basically, JavaScript is not multi-threaded. JavaScript is single-threaded, and behind the scene, it uses something called child helper thread, something like that. So in the behind the scene, it will help actually JavaScript to execute the code. So this is the picture. Okay, so my I think my screen is not shared. So I have to ask the person. Okay. Okay, I can see that my screen is stopped as sharing. Okay. No worries. Till then, my my screen comes back. I'm going to answer your questions. So, is it? It means that timeout function will be varied by event loop until. Yes, yes, yes. A 1 2 3. You have answered. You have understood the concept very correctly. Yes, yes, yes. Why is the difference in the output? Please explain. Vimal, you can just rewind the video and you will get the answer of your question. In the case of multiple set element function, what could be the output? So, okay, Prabhujot Arora, let me just show you. Just first let my screen should first let my screen should start like sharing. Like just give me a little bit of time. I think okay. Till then, so JS command mandatory to get yes. What is the multi? Okay, okay, that's good. If you have understood the concept, share the screen. Okay, so now I'm sharing my screen. So actually, I'm in the background. That's why my screen is not visible. Why is the difference in the case of set? So in the case of multiple set timeouts, actually, what is going to happen is that in the background, each and every set timeout will be waiting in the callback queue. Each and every timeout, set timeout, will be waiting. Yes, if you're a developer, you have to travel a lot. It's the life we have. It's not so that bad. We have fun by traveling here and there. Okay. Is there any limit how many callback? No, there is no limit. There is only one limit if your RAM got completely filled. So it depends how much resources your device have. Okay. What is the what is heap in the event loop? So Tanu, heap is a data structure. So actually it's a way in which we store the data. So basically it's a way in we store the data. So we have heap, we have stack, we have queues, and we have a lot of we have arrays. And so it's related to the DSA part. So basic, and we also cover DSA in our course. So because DSA is a very important part to become a good web developer, or in general a software engineer. So we have to be a very good very not very good, but we have to understand. Okay, so Suraj Singh Rajput have asked, is set out function will harm our application or will decrease the performance? No, no, it will. It is not the case that it is not going to harm the application. It's just a timer function. It waits in the background, like in the case of set interval. So it is used to create something like watch clock if you want to make sometime clock. So it completely different. Let me give you an example. Okay, So on a button click, you are starting an animation, and that animation should end after 3 seconds, or should it start after 3 seconds, or it's like that if when the animation stops, you want to start something else. So in that cases, and also when you want to fetch the data from the internet. So in the case of internet, if you're getting your data from external API, or like from external source, from a server, then we have to make use of something called fetch. So fetch is also asynchronous because the speed of internet is not constant. It's not like that. If you request for data from the internet, we are going to get the data. It's going to take some time. So that's why we use these kind of asynchronous concept there also. As a fresher developer, we have to write a perfect code. Yes. No. Best moment. As a look, with my personal experience, as a fresher developer, you don't have to write the best code, perfect code. You have to write a code that works. So that's the case. Uh, we will study asynchronous JS. Yes, we are going to cover every concept. uh, just if my screen start working, then yeah, we are going to. Sir, web API like Ajax also. Yes, yeah, sure. Yes, Tanu. Ajax is also work with the event loop. Yes. Can we have nested timeout function? So Tushar Bharti have asked a very good question. Can we have a nested timeout function? Yes, we can have a nested timeout function, and it's going to make a chain basically. How much JS you have to learn React JS? For that, minimum you have to learn about ES6 JavaScript. Basically, you can start React JS if you know little bit about asynchronous JavaScript, if you know about classes and concept like scope. Basically, you have to understand most of the JavaScript, and it will be better to start the React.js if you completely understand JavaScript. Otherwise, you will be stuck in the between, and it's a not very good thing to do, because it can you can stop your coding in general, because if you don't know about JavaScript, it's not possible to use a framework that is completely written on the JavaScript. Callback hell and the nested timeouts are the same thing. No, basically, callback hell is a situation where, just give me 1 second. Okay, so welcome back. So the thing is that callback hell is a condition where we do this kind of thing where we basically use something called chain a callback function. Basically, first this will be executed, and after that this will execute it. So that's a complete different case. Sir, there is also an course React.js from Let's Upgrade. Yes, you. I think that's the course. I don't actually know, but maybe it could be Saurabh sir, or it could be me that is going to take that course. Heap is extended memory cache. Sorry. Okay, so my screen is visible finally. So let's continue and let's answer some of your question. So what if there are 100 of set amount to zero? So in that case, like if there is a person who asks a question like, what if there is 100 line of codes and zero set timeout? Okay, yeah, Akram have asked this question. So Akram, in that case, those 100 lines of code will be executed first, and then the set time that set timeout will be executed. Let's just do that thing. So here I'm making 100 line of codes, and if I execute, so this time set timeout, which was waiting only for 0 seconds, will be executed at the last. If I go over here, 5503, if I press enter, and if I go into the console panel, you can see that we have got all the consoles, and at the very end we got the set timeout 10, because at the event loop was waiting whole code to be completed first, and as soon as whole code written inside this execution context got completed, then only this set timeout function, which was waiting in the callback queue, got executed. And in the case when we have multiple set timeout function, let's just assume we have multiple set timeout function. Okay, set timeout 1, set timeout 2, set timeout 3. So these functions will be executing in order of one by one. Okay. So as you can see, these are also executed at the very last, but they are going to execute it one by one because they are like first this set timer function goes in the background and waited for 0 second and start and goes back goes into the callback queue. Okay, so the first function, then this goes in the background, waited for 0 second and then came back to the callback queue second, and then this thing also happens same thing, and after that our whole code executed, and when the whole code got executed, all the code that was waiting in the callback queue got executed one by one. So all the code that was waiting in the event that callback okay on the callback function got executed one by one. So first this will be executed, then this will be executed, and this will be executed. So this is all about the event loop. Okay, and don't worry if you are having little bit of doubts, we are going to cover that also. First of all, let me just okay, so basically let's just answer all of the question. Like, let's just cover this topic today. We are going to cover promises in the tomorrow's lecture. So we are going to make a project related to asynchronous JavaScript and promises. So we are going to cover a topic of called promises, and to understand promises. Okay, so understand promises. It's very necessary to understand event loop concept and asynchronous JavaScript concept. So we will be using promises to fetch the data from the internet, from an external API, okay, from an external server. So we are going to fetch some data from servers, okay, and from through the internet, and then we are going to show that data on the screen, and it's going to be happening asynchronously because we cannot stop our code. So let's suppose your website or application is fetching the data from the internet. Okay, so and till we are fetching the data from the internet, you cannot show a white screen. You have to show something, like you have to show loading, you have to show wait for a while, or you can show something, some previous data. And as soon as we get the data from the internet, we will update our UI. Okay, so this is called asynchronously working. So in this case, it seems like our application is working without a break, but behind the scene we are waiting for some part of the code to execute it. Okay, difference between async await and the promises, that is the concept which Vimal that we are going to cover in the tomorrow's lecture. Okay, sir, will you cover ECMAScript? I can Neeraj, basically this course is not related to that ECMAScript. Here we are trying to understand the core concepts of the JavaScript. So we will but if you have asked, so I'm going to give you like little bit of glimpse of ECMAScript also. Execute in the FIFO order, yes. First in, first out, yes. Aman Q's basically Aman Singh. I think he's really good with his computer science degree. So yes, it was FIFO, first in, first out. Please tell me on multi. Okay, Prabhjot. So I have told you about multiple set timeout functions also. Okay, so if I go over here, okay. So before ending this session, I'm just going to answer the Neeraj Labs question, basically, because it's already the time when we have to stop this lecture. But what is ECMA? First, we have to understand what is ECMA. So if you are still waiting, let me just explain you, history of JavaScript. So JavaScript was developed by the developers of Netscape Navigator. So for this case, I'm going to start my video. Just give me a second because it's going to be like a story. Okay, so I think I am not visible. Okay, still. So JavaScript was started by the Netscape Navigator people, and they named it JavaScript because Java was very popular back then, and then after that some controversy happened. So later, ICMA is the company who took over JavaScript, and they have introduced some of the new features in the JavaScript. As I told you that programming language also have versions like updates like your apps have. So similarly, we have called ES6. So in the ES6, we have some introduced some more features. Like in the ES6, you can define a function called like function function A. So this was the previous way of defining a function. Hello. But now we have a new way of like this. Const b. So and console.log B. So this is the new syntax, but it's not like that this syntax is bad. No, this is a new, complete new feature of the JavaScript. So this function is also good. This is also correct, but there are little bit of the difference that we have to follow, and we could also use var here. We could have also used var here. So this is the case of the ECMAScript, and we cover these whole topics in our whole complete session. Okay, so this is the whole story, and to join me, Figma is work on the Photoshop. Okay. So to join me, you can just visit Let's Upgrade, and in the complete course, you will be fascinated like how much thing we cover. So just click on the Start Learning. Okay, and here you will find our whole course. You can sign up here. You can sign up. You can fill your all the details. You can log in with your Gmail also, and you will find our courses here, and you have to get enrolled in our full stack program. So we have a full stack program for the web development and for the data science, both of them. And in the full stack program, it could be I will be your instructor. It could be the reason. It could be the reason to join the whole session. But anyways, we have a best faculty that I have found so far. I have been in this industry for a while, and I have been working with Let's Upgrade for a very good amount of time, and I can see that Let's Upgrade team is very good at, and they are really focused, and we are really focused at the future of our students whoever join us, and we focus on very concept. The whole goal of our teaching is to make you job ready. It's not because we are also developers. We are not teachers, to be honest. I am not a teacher. I am a working developer. I work in the project. I have worked on a huge library of project. So people like us will going to teach you, and we cover HTML, CSS, JavaScript, advanced JavaScript, new ECMA JavaScript, everything that JavaScript has. We cover Next.js. We have covered React.js, Node.js, Express, socket connection, and a lot of things. And you will, and we are going to do that in a way that it's not going to be so difficult for you to understand. So do visit our website and give it a try. And for now, thank you for joining. I hope you learned something new in this class. Like, and thank you for joining once again. And sorry for that delay. Tomorrow it will be a regular class, okay, a regular session. And tomorrow we are going to cover a project also. So thank you for joining once again. Okay, bye bye. Good night.